Howdy y'all, and welcome to Lex Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, so I I've run out of electrical parts and I was making some yeah, it's not really giving me any parts. And I don't have the supplies to make them, and I swung by here because I knew I could get a few out of this place. Well, I mean, I was driving around and saw the tower. I'm like, ooh, I bet that has some for me. So that's my goal today, is to find some electrical parts. I've got to get bones, if possible. For things like glue and duct tape. So I'll probably be killing some animals and stuff like that. Uh, yeah, I actually hopped on and played a little bit earlier. I was gonna wait for it to be daytime, and then while I was waiting the hour and a half of game for it to be daytime, uh, it a horde came in, and so I was trying to deal with the horde. Got killed a couple times because I was screwing around, and then I was attempting to repair the damage that was done, and discovered that I was out of parts to fix my blade traps. So that is why we are out and about hunting for parts, whether it comes from animals or the ground, or probably not zombies because they don't do very well at dropping parts anymore. Yeah, so anything that looks electrical, I guess I'll stop and mess with, and any animal. So we played D&D this week. It went alright. It was only slightly annoying, I guess. There were some annoying parts, for sure. We're getting to the tail end of the Curse of Strahd. Not getting to. We are nowhere. We're not at the end. We're just approaching the end, because apparently the final castle, I have been told, is mammoth and will take a lot of time to get through. And so, we've last couple of play sessions, because we've had several play sessions that were canceled, and so I don't know when we got to this point, but we basically what went down was we talked to Strahd, who's the main character, I guess, of the story, and he's pretty much Dracula, right? He's Dracula. And so he is obsessed with this woman he believes is the reincarnation of his lost love, right? Just like the Dracula book. Except that in the Dracula book, it was his wife, and in Strahd, it's his brother's wife. And so we have since discovered that he killed his brother and tried to take his brother's wife, and his brother's wife killed herself to get away from him. And so I guess that's why he's locked everything into this repetition thing, so that he can try and woo her when she is reborn, I guess. I don't know. And so in amongst all of that, he has taken several brides and turn them into vampires, and so he does have vampire brides. We've fought a couple. We've killed a couple. And it's really annoying that we've had to kill a couple, because I get the first one we fought. We were brand new to the land. But we can't leave. Strahd is the only one who can let you leave. And so he abducted us, I guess. I don't know. That hasn't really been established. Like, the townspeople we run into tell us that, but we haven't actually seen any evidence. I still don't think we've seen any evidence that Strahd is done anything bad. We can only go by what people are telling us, but we haven't actually witnessed him do anything bad. And since they're so superstitious, who knows? Obviously he's the bad guy because he's the final boss of the campaign, but our characters have not seen any evidence of him doing anything horrible yet. We had a dinner party with him. He chit-chatted. He threatened us a little bit, but I also threatened him back. And he told us to go and do some stuff for him, and so we didn't have anything better to do, and I didn't feel we were probably quite powerful enough to take him on. I think we probably could now. I do feel we are getting to the tail end, and we probably aren't going to get too many more levels, and so we could probably down him now if we got some good rolls. And anyway, so he's got these brides. Oh, and so we were out doing what he wanted us to do, and then one of his brides attacked us, and I'm like, why is she? To the DM outside of the game, I'm like, why are they attacking us when we're doing what he wants? I don't understand. Like, we're not in competition with them. So I don't quite grasp why they are trying to interfere with us doing doing what he wants, right? I mean, if we're doing what he wants, then shouldn't he be happy and, you know, not allow his vampire brides to attack us? But he's like, well, they've got free will. I'm like, sure, but why are they attacking us? I don't understand. Like, there's no motivation to attack us, and they just keep doing it over and over. I think we've been attacked like 4 or 5 times now by Strahd's brides, and we're finally at the point where we can kill them, and so we've killed a couple. And I've collected their heads, so I can give them to Strahd next time we see him. But yeah, I don't know. So that's a weird thing that's been happening, and I'm not sure why. The worst one was when we were at the vampire den, or not vampire, werewolf den, and the werewolf den is a dungeon, and so it's supposed to be, you know, like a normal dungeon in a game. You clear it basically every room or every couple of rooms, and our DM is like, nope, everything in the entire dungeon attacks you at once. And I'm like, well, that's not fun. That's not fun at all, because that was a lot of bad guys all at once. We're talking like 40-some bad guys attacking us. And but I think that's because he doesn't understand. Even now, even after playing so many, like, we've been playing for a couple of years, he's been DMing for a couple of years, and he still doesn't get the flow of the... Where are those guys? People, look at all those zombies coming out of nowhere. Were they in the vault? Man, there's so many zombies want me here. And, so, I don't know. It's weird, and it doesn't make any sense to me. But he doesn't understand. I'm sorry, I got distracted by all these zombies. He doesn't understand the flow of combat, and so you don't have a lot of hit points. And so everything is designed around what they call action economy, which is how many things you can do in your turn. And so as you go up levels, you get more abilities. So you can usually do ooh, nice. You either do more things on your turn, or you get things that are more powerful to do on your turn as you progress through the game, right? I mean, it's a game. And so and so even though the werewolves themselves are technically lower level than we are, 40 of them at once is a lot of things to fight, because they all get turns, and your armor and weapons and stuff don't really get that much more powerful. And so the armor I started with was 18 armor class is what I started with. 18. We've gone up 9 levels, which is a lot in D&D. Like, 9 levels doesn't sound like a lot in a normal video game, but in a tabletop RPG, going up a level is a massive increase. And so 9 levels is a lot. At level 9, I only have 22 AC. I have found one piece of armor that was an upgrade for me in 9 levels of playing, and it only upgraded my armor by 2. So we're not talking a lot of increases in our armor, so that even though there's 40 of them, we can handle them. We're still sitting, basically, I was at 18, now I'm at 22, because I've got a ring and a cloak and the better armor, and that increased it by 4. But, I mean, they're still going to hit you a lot, because they get to hit multiple times in a turn. So 40 people take, 80 swings at you, and you've only got 50 hit points, and they're going to hit for the same amount of damage that you've basically been doing since the beginning of the game, D8 plus whatever, that's it. You're done. And so it was close. It was a very tough fight. We almost died. And I don't mind the almost died part if I felt like that was the way combat should have gone. But that's not the way it was meant to be played out. It was supposed to be, and so we get a lot of that. And so this is we go to this town. There's this abbey sitting on the top. All the people in the abbey are dead, I think. And so there's these things living there called mongrel folk. And so they're like people with animal parts. Only it's not like a dog man. It's like a man with a snake arm and a dog snout and an eagle eye for one eye and a gecko eye for the other and a lobster claw sticking out of the middle of his back. Like that. They're all messed up. And they're all insane. And so there's an angel living there, and I forget what kind he is, because there's several different kinds in D&D, but he is watching over them. And meanwhile, we got Strahd, who's trying to find this, he knows where she's at, and he's just like, you think I can't just go and take her whenever I want? Well, then do it, and shut up about it already. Obviously you can't, or you'd have done it already. And so he thinks that if he can give Strahd the perfect bride, that the curse over the land, because nobody can enter, nobody can exit, there's no sunshine, There's you know, a lot of undead monsters and stuff, and so this angel thinks that if he can give Strahd the perfect bride, that Strahd will be happy and the curse will be lifted. And so he has built basically Frankenstein's bride and the bride of the Frankenstein monster, right? Only he wants us to find the perfect wedding dress for her so that Strahd will just immediately fall in love with her and lift the curse. So we got him a wedding dress. And so then he was all happy and he was going to go present the new bride to Strahd. I don't know what's supposed to happen with that. All I know is that our DM is using a book that's not the actual book to run the game, and looking stuff up on the internet that people did, and so we get a lot of weird stuff that doesn't match what's in the actual story, and because of that it doesn't fit in with the story as well as it should. So we know what happened at the Abbey, right? There was a group there, they tried to fight back against Strahd killed them. I don't remember exactly where the mongrel folk came from, but they are now at the Abbey, and the crazy, and he is crazy, the crazy angel, is trying to build a bride for Strahd out of spare parts. And so it doesn't go well for him, apparently. And so we then left there, and we went to this other place, and we killed this super powerful witch named Baba Lysaga, who was instrumental in creating Strahd. And so we thought maybe she could help us overthrow Strahd because Strahd wanted her dead. But it turns out she's crazy, and she believes that the fake baby she has is Strahd, and refuses to listen to us and attacks us. Because every time we talk to somebody, they just immediately attack us. And then when we attack, instead of talking, our DM is like, I can't believe you guys are always just fighting stuff. You never talk. And so Lysaga was one of those things where it just turned out we couldn't talk to her. She just straight up attacked us. And so on our way back from that, we stopped by this winery that we had dealt with a little bit earlier with some of the problems they had, because they were missing their magic stones. And so we managed to get them back 2 of the magic stones now, but Lysaga had the second one. And so we got it from her, we took it back to them, and then we stayed there at night. And then the next morning, we started heading off from all the bridges, man. I've broken all the bridges with this truck. We started heading back from there to town, because we were gonna see if we could find this crazy wizard that we had bumped into once, and we wanted to see if we could fix him, because we were getting close to the level where our priest said that he would be able to do something about the wizard's madness. And so we wanted to go see if we could take care of that. And so we're leaving, and he's like, you see the abbot fly by, weeping, and because he's an angel, and screaming, and we're like, okay, what do? Do you go after him? Like, no, I think we'll just keep heading into town. I'd have to assume his little bride trick didn't work. And so then he's like, oh, well, if you're not going to go after him, as you move closer to town, you see there are people, townsfolk, and they're being eaten by the mongrel folk. And I'm like, okay. So we didn't go do the thing he wanted us to do, and so he immediately has to change the story. He does a lot of retconning, which is where you go back and you change what you've said already. And so he does a lot of that to make us want to go. Well, we don't ever actually want to do things, but this game would be totally different if I hadn't played a paladin who feels he has to protect people. Unfortunately, I chose to play a paladin who is sworn to protect people. And so when we see the poor people being killed by the Mongol folk. Obviously, we have to do something about it. And so we have to go all the way back to the abbot, and we talk to him for about, I don't know, 15 seconds before he decides to attack us. He decided that nothing was worth it since his bride plan didn't work. Like, he went his whole spiel the first time we met him about how he was there to protect everybody and how he was going to uphold the vision of the monastery, or the abbey, that now that all the people who lived there were dead, and that's why he'd taken in the Mongol folk, and why he was trying to help them, and it was difficult because there were so many of them, and there was only him there, and you know, and so, and then he's like, oh, my bride, he didn't like my bride, so none of it matters. I'm just gonna release all the Mongol folk on the town below. They can kill everybody they want. I don't care. I'm like, okay. I'm like, but he's a good angel, right? I mean, I know he's a little crazy, but he's a good angel. Yep. So he's a good angel who is not being good. So he's not a good angel. And so I'm, you know, I try to cajole him into doing what he's supposed to. And instead he attacked us. And so then, just as we're about to kill him, now remember, this abbey used to have other people in it, and not this angel. And they all got killed by Strahd, apparently. And now this angel has decided to kill everybody too. And so, as we're about to kill him, he suddenly goes, if you kill me, you release the evil that I keep trapped. The ancient evil that I've kept at bay for... I'm like, what ancient evil? He wasn't even here before. This is... Like, I get that maybe he's been here for a long time now, because I don't know how this curse thing works. But... he wasn't here before, so what kind of ancient evil could he be holding in place? Because I know outside of playing the game that they're actually trapped in a time loop, and so it just keeps repeating over and over again. And so even if we win and we get out, they're going to go back into the time loop. But so this angel is part of this time loop now. So what ancient evil could he be doing? Because Strahd killed those people, and then the angel showed up. It wasn't the angel was there and the people built the monastery around him. So I don't know what our DM's talking about. But so we killed him. A dragon comes up out of the graveyard. We kill the dragon, and then he ends our session because he tells us there's a lot of treasure, and then he says that we'll deal with the treasure next week. And so then when we get back this week, he's like, okay, so now we all have dark vision, so we can all see in the dark. And so he tells us that the tunnel the dragon came out of is 15 feet across, and it's too dark for us to see in. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll throw some light down in there then. I got a wizard. And he's like, you throw the light down in there, and you don't see anything. And I'm like the light goes out? And he's like, no, just, you know, you don't see anything but the tunnel. I'm like, okay. So how deep does it look to be? He's like, oh, about 70 feet. I'm like, all right, well, we'll climb down in there then. And I'm like, you know what? I'll send my bat down in there. And so one of the things in the game is you roll a 20-sided dice a lot. And so if you go to attack something, where'd that deer go? You roll a 20-sided dice. There it is. And then you add some stuff to it. Like, if you're using a weapon that uses strength, then you roll your d20. You take that number, you add your strength. If it's a weapon you're good with, then you add your proficiency bonus. So, like, at level 9 where I'm at, I have 20 strength. I have 4 proficiency. So I add 9 to whatever I roll on the d20. So if it has 17 armor class, and I roll a 9, we'll add another 9 to that. It becomes an 18. I beat their armor class. I get to roll damage. So one of the things that happens is that if you're in combat and you roll a 1, it's an automatic miss. But if you roll a 2 or a 20, it's a critical hit. And so you do extra damage. However, that's figured, you do extra damage. And there's a few different ways that people do it. We double the damages on the dice. I've started doing, in the game that I run, you get the max amount of damage on the dice plus what you rolled. Because it doesn't make any sense to roll a critical hit and roll a 1, and so you have a critical of 2 damage when you normally are hitting for like 8 damage. You know, so anyways, so that only applies to combat. You don't get a critical success on a skill check. You either succeed or you don't on a skill check. Well, not our DM. Our DM thinks that a 1 means that it automatically fails, and a 20 means that not that you necessarily succeed, because he doesn't like for us to ever succeed, but that he will tell you the information that he wasn't going to tell you. He says it all the time. I wasn't going to tell you this, but you got a really good roll. I wasn't going to do this, but you got a really good roll. I was going to kill you, but you got a really good roll. Alright, dude. We get it. Everything has to... Everything he does has to be like a gift to us. I was going to just wipe you out, but you rolled really well. And, so... Anyways, so send my bat down in the cave, right? It's a bat. I can control this bat. I send him down in the cave, and I'm like, so what do I see? He's like, roll perception. And so he's got this thing going lately where you can't just see, you have to roll a perception check. Perception checks are used if you are looking for something. Not just looking around, but looking for something. And so I just set my... Whoa. I just sent my bat in there to look around, and I rolled a 1. So on the bat, that turned out to be like an 8 or a 10 or something, when you add in all his extra stuff. And, but no. That was a fail, and so my bat can't find his way around a cave. My bat couldn't find his way around a cave. And there was nothing in the cave. There was no reason to have us roll perception. There wasn't anything special. Once we got in the cave, we just walked through the cave. It was just an empty cave. He couldn't have just said, yeah, your bat looks around, there's a cave, it goes on a little farther. He can't, he can only see so far. No, none of that. The light that you threw down earlier blinds him, and something, you're not sure what, is messing with his echolocation. I'm like, really? Okay. Yeah, so there was a bunch of stuff like that, and then we fighting the bad guys. There's some skeletons we had to fight. We killed one of them, and then the next one was taking like way more damage to kill, and it wasn't anything different than the other one. And the other guy is like, "It's just me, or does it seem like this guy has way more hit points?" I'm like, he doesn't actually calculate the hit points. He just decides when they die. He's told me this before. And so we finally get through those, and then this is the thing that I hate. I hate when he does this, and he does it all the time. He will tell you about something that you can't possibly do anything about. And he likes to give out quests that are way too high level for you, or quests that can't be solved. So we're in this cave that the dragon was in, and there's a room, but it's sealed. And so when I do some checking, it's sealed with magic, too powerful to use magic to remove. And so the only way to undo the magic, even though I have Dispel Magic learned, is to have the artifact or the item or something, or know the words that will open the tomb. Now we used a spell to be able to read what the tomb said, and it gave us 0 clues. I don't know if it's a tomb, because he also told us that it was full of transportation or teleportation magic. So I think it's a teleporter someplace, but he won't tell us what it was. And it's written in Abyssal, which is the demon language. And but it's sealed. It's sealed with Abyssal. So obviously, if it's sealed by demons, there's probably something good in there, right? But we don't know where the artifact is to open it, and he didn't give us any clues. And so I hate that, because he goes on and on describing this crap, and then we'll never be able to do anything with it. So we left there, and then we found the wizard that we wanted to look for, and we fixed him, and then he didn't do anything good for us, which is stupid. I don't know what he's supposed to do. I know he's in the book. I don't know what he's supposed to do. But he gave us some potions that aren't very good, and went on his way. And so I was a little disappointed with the outcome of that. But yeah, that's where we made it in our D&D game. Yep. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. This is technically the second time I recorded the episode, but thanks to the Windows update and the updates to my video card drivers, my recording software managed to reset all of my settings and recorded the sound coming out of my monitor and not any kind of microphone or the game sound last time. So I've been at this for an hour. So yeah, click like we like, subscribe and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.